the Rikishi Fatu Off the Top podcast. Let's go. Rikishi Fatu, all y'all ready? We the ones. Keep it locked on the Rikishi Fatu podcast. Off the Top. We gonna talk about everything wrestling, everything hip-hop. Keep it locked. It's time to smarten up.
All right, Joey, let's do this, man.
I gotta catch up.
Whatever that beer Cerrucho gave me, that was definitely delicious. I was like I was drinking a 40 again. You know, back in the day, it's that old cheap old English beer. You remember that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, that's that Bay Area, man.
Oh
you know,
yeah.
It's like a dollar. I think it was 75 cents back in the day for a 40 ounce. Yeah, you drink that one bottle, you good for the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
But we done upgraded now.
You're making me thirsty, Big Kish.
Yeah, well, that's what we do.
Yes, sir. It's good to see you.
You too, my man. Welcome.
That's right. We're here at the brand new domain in Sun Valley, California, IA. And first of all, I would like to give a salute. Today, we're going to talk about some music for a quick second, Big Kish.
Well, come on with it.
Today, 2021 WWE Hall of Famer has passed away. And we are talking about the one and only Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne. So, salute to the Ozzy Osbourne family.
Rest in peace. My condolences to his family.
And condolences. Big Kish, are you familiar with Ozzy Osbourne?
Absolutely. Who's not?
Right?
He's a legend, my man.
Oh, man. Right on.
Man, old school cat, man. Music's still relevant now and forever.
Yes, sir. Black Sabbath, of course. And one thing that was really awesome was he just got to perform his final concert about 2 weeks ago. And he couldn't even stand up. He was confined to a chair, and he was in so much pain. And he even told the world that he was dying. And he was able to muster up the strength to give one last performance. And how can you not respect the hell out of that? So one more time, salute and condolences to Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, man. My condolences, from the show to the family, to the friends, and all his fans worldwide. We're going to miss you, man.
Yes.
Thank you for making wonderful music.
Big Kish, in the world of hip-hop, was there ever a loss that affected you personally? Because like today, getting the news about Ozzy Osbourne definitely affected me. A lot of my friends hit me up because they know, they knew how much I loved Ozzy.
Yeah.
But for you, was there ever a rapper's death that really affected you personally?
Well, yeah, man. He was one of my favorites back in the day, man. Big shout out to Heavy D.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Heavy D.
Back in the day, man, I used to listen to that ooze there, being a big guy and so talented and, the way he can move and groove and, he was so light on his feet with the the moves and the steps and so forth, watching some of his videos. And, his flow was just poetry in motion, and, when he passed, it was one of those feelings that, we lost an icon back in the day, He was definitely one of those cats. And also, Tupac and Biggie, that's the era there to when these cats, when music, to me, rap was rap because you can understand, the joy in their songs, but you can also understand the pain in their songs. You understand every word that they were, telling, like, it was like a movie. When they're spitting out their lyrics, it was so smooth and no gibberish that you can really understand and you can kind of see it to match up with a funky beat, to make your feet move, or to just kind of make you just sit back and really just, lock into the lyrics. So, those will have to be my three right there. Those icons, Heavy D and Tupac and Biggie Smalls.
Tupac was such a big one, and it was kind of like 9/11. Like, all of us remember where we were 9/11. Do you remember where you were when Tupac passed away? I was in traffic headed to a Santana concert with my father and my cousin, and they kept playing Tupac songs on the radio back to back to back. And we're like, well, what's going on? And then that's when the DJ came on and said that Tupac was killed in Vegas, and we were just blown away. Just like today, hearing the news about Ozzy. Of course, different circumstances or whatnot, but still blown away nonetheless. Do you remember where you were when you first heard Tupac passed?
I was actually in the East Coast, man. I was just going over the George Washington Bridge from New York and going into New Jersey. Actually going to catch a flight to leave out from Newark during that time. Everything was kind of shut down, obviously, you know. Was stuck in New Jersey for a couple of days or however long it was because I was trying to get home to Pensacola, Florida. And so, yeah, I was up there, and I believe the nights before we did a run around New York area. Poughkeepsie, we were shooting TV up there, you know, Monday Night Raw. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, we did a house show, I believe it was Madison Square Garden. And then headed back to, you know, the following day, headed back to Newark to go catch a flight out. And so I was in the East Coast when I found out the news.
Wow. Very unfortunate series of events. Just like yesterday when that happened. And hip hop, I definitely, it's had that void ever since he's left because Tupac was a lyricist. Today's music is a lot different. Today's music, and of course, everything changes and evolves over time. But I don't think there's been a lyricist, as far as I'm concerned, as good as Tupac was.
No, it's very hard to compete against an icon like that. You know what I mean? You can tell there's people that when you hear them flow, you know, the way I see it, mm-hmm. you know, you got passion in the art, you know, versus just flowing just for music and just for, you know, to sell records and stuff like that. But to me, he was like a news anchor for the ghetto. He was like a news anchor for, you know, the hard life of, you know, the people in the ghetto. And, you know, I was, you know, I'm an island boy, but I was raised up in the swamps up there in the Bay Area. You know where that's at, you know, Sunnydale. And, mm-hmm. You know, when you come from palm trees and beaches and stuff, and then all of a sudden you come to, you know, you look around, it's just ghetto life, you know. And you kind of learn how to, you know, adapt, and you see, and when you hear, you know, rappers come out there that are talking about situations in the community of what they've been around and raised around, and that's the life. You know, you can't help but, you know, to listen and, you know, understand it. Is this guy spitting the truth, or is this guy, you know, just spitting gibberish? And, you know, and that's what kind of brought me to guys like Tupac, guys like Biggie, you know, guys like Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, you know. And so, you know, to understand rap, why I'm such a huge fan of rap is I love to listen to the poetry and the storytelling of true facts that are out there. Not every rapper that raps about, you know, bling bling and being a gangster is a real gangster, you know. And you kind of, you know, for the kids that are listening out there, you know, just kind of, you know, understand, you know, the vibes of what it is back then and the vibes of what it is today, you know. So, you know, there's a purpose that I believe every rapper has that's out there. You know, for me, you know, my purpose is, one, I'm a fan of the art. Number two is that, you know, it was one of those things on my bucket list. You know, I was one of those guys that just, you know, freestyle with Yoko back in the day, but never really took it serious. But I love music. I love hip hop, you know, and you know, I got a good team with me now, and, you know, Frankie B and Mike, you know, these guys, you know, with the beats that they come up and, you know, with lyrics and so forth to help me kind of, you know, perfect the craft, because I'm still a student in the game. You know, I never said I was a pro rapper. I did mention that I love the hip hop. I love rapping, but I love the industry of rap and music. And so if my voice can, you know, be a part of that and help somewhat kind of steer it in a, you know, a positive way for a lot of the new generation that's coming up, I think that that's a good purpose. That's a good sign. It's each one teach one. And at my age right now, I'm still learning. So, again, I couldn't have done this without my team. Much love to to my also Frank and also Mike that continue to believe in me. As well as I believe in them. And we've been rocking for well over about a year and a half, close to 2 years now. So, sooner or later, we going to plan to, hit the stage and so forth and, possibly, do a couple songs because I've never did a live, live event as far as introducing, the album or the songs that we got on track. So, but, it seems like the fans out there, it's a shock thing for them that didn't really, know or understand that the feelings that I have for hip hop and, my love for hip hop. And now I'm trying it, So, better now than never, right?
Absolutely.
And so, again, big shout out to all the fans that, show love, and continue to support. So we'll see. We're working on the second album right now, and we just gonna do our thing and just try to put out good music.
You mentioned Tupac is like a news anchor to the ghetto, and instantly that reminded me of Jacob. With his track, and of course you on Hello, which, by the way, everybody knows is in the millions as far as streams go right now.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate that.
And I gotta say, me as a fan, before you ever returning as the wise man, I would love to see you on the stage rapping your music because you're really good at it. And I think the fans would, like you said, shock factor. I think it'd be really great to see Big Kish under the lights busting a flow.
Well, I appreciate that, but you know what I mean? In due time.
Yeah.
It just has to be the right time, the right place.
Yep.
To be able to do something like this. So for me, it's an epic thing because it's going to be, I've never done it before. But I'm assuming that, it won't be hard for me. There's one thing about being in front of a crowd, that's my comfort zone,
Yeah.
I got this word, it's called adapt. And so, I'm going to have my team out there and we just going to do what we do, you know what I mean? And, put some smiles on some faces and who knows, maybe pull out that old two-step to the left, two-step to the right, back it up, and there it goes.
Yeah. A few more questions, Big Kish, regarding hip-hop. What is your favorite? Do you have a favorite Tupac song?
Oh, man. It's Me Against the World.
I'm going to say mine's Checkout Time.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. We gotta go. We gotta go.
I'm sure you listen to the lyrics there. But it's checkout time.
Yeah. Anytime me and my boys were at a hotel, we had to check out, we would bump that song. So that's a great one. My last question to you, Big Kish, if you were able to have a few drinks with, let's say, 3 rappers, past, present, and future. They could be alive or they could be deceased. If you were at a round table, kind of like what we're sitting at right now, you can have some old fashions with 3 rappers. Which 3 rappers would they be?
Man, I'd have to go with the icons during my time, I believe. I'd have to go a big shout out to H-Town, Houston. I'd have to go out with Scarface.
Ooh, from the Ghetto Boys, yeah? All right. See, I know a little thing about hip-hop.
My mind playing tricks on me.
Down.
And then, I'd have to go with Method Man.
Okay.
With Wu-Tang Clan.
Tikal.
And then, man, the one and only LL Cool J.
Wow, that's one hell of a round table there, Big Kish.
But it doesn't exclude everybody, all the other icons.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of them out there that, would be fun to have a round table with. Of course, Ice Cube, Tupac, Biggie, Heavy D and the Boys. Back in the day. I'd even like to have old brother Bobby Brown in the mix.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Every little step he takes, okay. Little Bobby Brown.
That's my prerogative. You know what I mean? That's but
I love Bobby Brown.
Probably, a lot of these youngsters, they probably don't even know
No.
You know what I mean? That old school like that. But man, to me, that's when music was music.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like in reality, all these big hip hop and R&B soulful stars today, I guarantee you that the names that I mentioned had something to do in their career because they were young kids back in the day. And during that time, man, these icons were just blowing up the radio. I mean, that's all you heard back in that day, at least for me in the West Coast. That's all we heard, all the way back to the islands of Samoa.
Really?
Their music reached out there. So, yeah, man, But when you in the ghetto at the swamps in the Bay Area, the Yay area, that's all you heard around. Is you heard about music of the struggle. You heard Mac Dre up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, E40, Too Short, not too short, Too Short. So I mean, there's a lot of the Bay Area cats that I grew up with out there. So big shout out to all of them.
Absolutely.
Past, present, and future.
Yeah.
We lost icons in the music industry, but we also got icons that are still living and breathing today. So continue to do your thing.
Big shout out. Big Kish, there's something I wanted to ask you about. KnokXPro is giving out something right now called the Shadow Pass, which is an amazing opportunity. Folks, for all you screenwriters, for anybody who's ever wanted to write for pro wrestling, and there's a lot of you out there, I'm one of them. KnokXPro is giving an opportunity right now. It is called the Shadow Pass. So basically, if you're a writer, you can come down here to the domain in Sun Valley, California, and you can shadow KnokXPro for the day. Now, this could be on either one of the events that they got coming up, and there is a lot of events coming up soon. But first of all, how did this come about? Who thought of this? Because this is a very good idea, and I don't think something like this has ever been done before.
Well, definitely not. Again, all these ideas that we come up here at the KnokXPro staff with Reno and myself is to be able to give access opportunity to a lot of those that are interested of how this work in professional wrestling, the entertainment world, the video world / with wrestling. And so, this is something that I'm excited about. So you guys can pretty much float through the whole scene, from sitting into the booking committee, how the show is written, going into the commentary part, like how the commentaries put their deals together, sitting into how we're calling the matches and so forth. So you really get a backstage pack. You're really shadowing us while we're putting this thing together from A to Z. And so, very happy to be able to, to have something like this out there for those that, that are very curious and, possibly, always wanted to understand and how they can get their foot in the door. Well, this can be an avenue for you. You pay for the day, you come through, you shadow us, do the whole nine, through the show, you sit into the, production meetings and so forth. So, it's limited spots. We just put this out there and we're going to try it. And if it's successful and a lot of those that are able to secure their spots and there's more interest, of course, we're going to, continue to do that. And, all you got to do is go to KnokXPro, that's KnokXPro.com. And you just go to their contact or they'll have the information up there as well. And so, yeah, it's one of the, the good opportunities that service that we have here at KnokXPro.
And for the price that you guys are offering, let me just say the price, this opportunity is priceless because you're going to get to shadow WWE Hall of Famer. And you don't know who's going to be here at the KnokXPro domain on show day. There's a lot of personalities that will come through and you get to sit there and you get to shadow. You get to be a fly on the wall and see truly how this business works from the inside.
And that's great opportunity for the fans.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? The writers or those that feel like, sometimes they feel like they're surpassed their age for the ring to be able to get in there and, be physical in the wrestling. But they might have interest in the back part of writing storylines, camera work, film work, producing, audio. I mean, you name it. There's endless opportunities and things that goes behind the scene to put a whole show together. I mean, there's things from, hanging trust and lights, how the lights work, how certain light color goes on different talent and so forth. So it's very, very educational.
Absolutely.
And this is going to be an opportunity because, KnokXPro with the new event now, we're running a lot of shows. And so this can be, if you missed the first opportunity, just go on the website, and you can sign up for the next show, the next show, the next show, and it'll go on from there. So, who knows? That might open up the door for you to actually be a part of the staff here at KnokXPro, the writing team, or the video team, or the booking. Who knows? Whatever we see fit, where you feel that we feel that that's your strong point to be able to be an asset to the team, then that's where we would recommend to put you. So, just check out the site again, and make sure you lock your space in.
And for those that are interested in getting into the ring, don't forget that KnokXPro is offering a loan program here at KnokXPro, and the slogan is "Train now, pay later." That is crucial, Big Kish, because the future of this business, the future stars of this business, they're out there. They might not have the money up front, but now with this program, they can come and take a loan out, and like the slogan says, they can train now and pay later. How did that system come about?
Well, again, there's a lot of researching. We have well over 80 students, and it's climbing up more. We've had always the reputation of that with the academy, as far as a lot of students, worldwide coming here to LA to be able to train under the Samoan Dynasty brand. And, so we understand that being in business for well over 17 or 18 years, that was always kind of like the speed bump for a lot of the students.
Right.
Like, you can see the passion that they have. They love the industry. They love the business. They want to train to be part of the business. But it was always that financial. And so the research of the team got together and, with a few of our partners. And now, we're able to give that service to a lot of our clients now. I used to, we give out these 2 free day passes.
Yep.
So, it helps the coaches find out, like, does this person have the athletic ability, or do we think he could be good for the industry? Gives us a couple days where we can spend time together and, get to know the person. Is he a loudmouth? Is he coachable? Is he athletic? What's his background? Did he play sports? Did he not play sports? So those things gives us opportunity to be able to find a student. And then, once we see that, most of the time, like a lot of these kids that, man, they're just athletic. They're meant to be able to, they got a shot at it, right? We don't promise that we're going to make you a superstar, but damn it, we can offer an opportunity, right? And so that was kind of like that speed bump for a lot of the kids, the students that are wanting to be a part of the business. They just couldn't afford it. Everybody, we fall on hard times, right? And so, again, the team came together with KPE and, found a system that was able to work. And now, it feels good to be able to see kids not have to worry about, coming up with the full payment of something. Now they can just, go through, check the credit and so forth, or have somebody co-sign for them. And then, just go, all they had to do now is just worry about, training, and, their mind is set free now. So that's why I'm telling everybody to go onto the website. You'll see the instructions, follow the prompt, and then just sign in, and one of our staff will get to you.
For those unfamiliar with the website, where can people find out more information about this?
Okay, you just go to KnokXPro.com. That's KnokXPro.com, and there's your one-stop shop. We do everything from running shows to training academy. We have a new, beautiful place here in Sun Valley, and it's we running like, WWE watch parties as well. We'll come in, we'll do signings together. We got food and stuff. It's a bar, it's a wrestling arena. I mean, we're open for business. We're open for anything professional wrestling, anything entertainment. We shoot a lot of stuff here for all kind of stuff, for movies, for Hollywood. And so, a lot of that, we're intertwined with stuff like that, is because for us, that's what professional wrestlers we do. We pretty much do everything. So we try to train these kids not only in professional wrestling, but also they can move in their acting skills into Hollywood. So most of the time that we'll get, we'll get recommendations from different people. And when they come here, they'll see some of you students and they say, before you know it, it's just because they were here at the academy. Now they're in a part of a movie and a stunt in Hollywood. Now they get to go into that industry, and they're a step ahead of the game now, because we all know where's your money, Joey.
Your face.
It's in your face. So as soon as we see the camera goes on, they're already prepped for it. So, I'm very, very happy for a lot of the opportunities, a lot of the, the program that's available here at KnokXPro Entertainment Academy for a lot of the new students that want to be able to venture out in this journey of professional wrestling. So make sure you stop by, check it out. You'll see the address on the website. That's KNOKXPRO.com. And that's your one-stop shop for any and all things professional wrestling entertainment.
Big Kish, we're going to talk about this past Smackdown that just happened. And, of course, I wanted to get your thoughts on this segment because I thought it was really funny. It brought some Stone Cold Steve Austin vibes to me, but I don't know if you caught last week's Smackdown, but your son, Sikoa, tried to frame your nephew, Jacob Fatu, the Samoan Werewolf, with a hit and run. So the local police department...
Well, that explains why I've been tagged on Twitter. Like I said, I'm not even in the WWE, man. I don't even work for the WWE.
No.
But,
But you're all over. You are all over the WWE.
So now I'm kind of blamed like I had something to do with that behind the scenes.
Well, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, some people would say.
I'm here to tell y'all, nothing. Let your mind wander.
So what were your thoughts on that segment? Because I thought it was very comical. I thought it was a little too close to home, with the police, questioning Jacob and Jacob calling him, "You punk-ass police." I thought that was hilarious. But I really love Solo's comedy. There's that shot of him getting pulled into the cop cars and Cody Rhodes walking in the background, and Solo goes, Cody, help me. And Cody's like, "You're on your own."
Damn, Cody didn't turn around to help?
No.
Cody, what is up, man?
Man, so
come on, Cody. I'm gonna have to call your brother, Dustin. Call Cody.
What are your thoughts on that segment? Did you get to watch it?
Yeah, well, of course, everybody tagged me to it.
What were your thoughts?
What I mean? Damn if I say something. You know what I mean? I thought it was great TV.
Right?
Yeah. It just shows another side of the bloodline. And Solo done really just took off in another level now.
Yes, he did.
You kind of see. I love the comedy how he's doing.
Absolutely.
He just kind of he looks relaxed out there, and it seems like a lot of the fans out there are really digging, the way that he's been on TV.
Yeah.
Not so much like just mean mugged all the time, right?
Absolutely.
Now he's just very entertaining, and so I think it'll be it's going to be great. It's going to be great to see Solo and Jacob do their thing.
Yeah, which they're heading into SummerSlam in a cage match.
Yeah.
That's going to be one hell of a barn
That's
burner.
going to be a slobber knocker.
The
great JR.
That's right.
Slobber knocker.
That's right. I'm really excited about that match, first of all, because, man, Jacob is just, they're both climbing that ladder. A cage match at SummerSlam, that is huge.
I mean, hey, Bloodline
is the timeline. Big Kish, do you have any predictions on that match?
Man, I got a feeling something's gonna happen there. Like it could be outside interference by. You're not gonna get an answer from me.
All right. I tell you what, let's take it back to Cody Rhodes.
I'll leave him on a cliffhanger.
Yes, sir. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes has been getting a little bit of press lately. They're saying they're seeing the heel turn coming.
Yeah.
So as we know, Cody Rhodes is going up against John Cena at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
First of all, do you think the WWE needs a heel Cody Rhodes, or do you still think we need the kissing babies and shaking hands Cody Rhodes?
You know what? It's for Cody he can go either way. I feel Cody can go either way. For the time being, man, you got the heel right there. Like Seems like all the eggs are in one basket there with John Cena. You know what I mean? John ain't got to do too much out there for people to hate him. So I feel he's getting the job done as far as being that #1 heel right now. And, where does Cody fit if he decides to change? Or, possibly they can, team up together. I don't know. They can, if Cody were to switch, I kind of see him like not taking a back seat because, you got a guy you invested all these years into. And now, to be able to switch him heel when you already got, a lot of the bank going up with John Cena. Who knows, man? It comes down to the writing again. Mm-hmm. I think either way, Cody can go baby or he can go heel. Either way, he's gonna knock it out the park.
Absolutely. I concur with that.
Right?
John Cena, so lately his whole deal is the last real champion.
Yeah.
Do you think
That's a great angle.
Right. Well, yes.
That's a great
It's
angle.
never been done before. Nobody has ever retired the champion. Usually everybody goes out, they put up, they
So what
lose.
happens if he does? He retired that belt.
Well, I'm sure that
they're gonna have to make another. Well,
I'm sure TKO or Triple H can be like, okay, we'll take that back now, John, please. But I do believe that is a great angle. It's never been done, so it's new.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, do you think that John Cena is going to retire the WWE champion?
No, I don't. No. I think somewhere down the line, let's not forget about the final boss.
The Rock, that's right. Whose absence has been inconspicuous lately,
right?
Because he was there from the beginning, but now he's been nowhere. And Big Kish, I'm glad you brought that up because there has been some scuttlebutt. I heard a rumor, as a matter of fact.
Of course you have.
That's right. That.
Of course you have.
That's
how I get all my information from this guy. Yeah.
So
Joey's like the dictionary of professional wrestling.
That's
what
right.
goes on out there.
Yep.
So scuttlebutt, what? You heard the scuttlebutt.
I heard a rumor that the beef is real and has been long-standing between Triple H and The Rock. So there has been reports that there's been some kind of something going on between the two, and that explains The Rock's absence. Now, you've been there. You've been there in the Attitude Era because I guess their beef goes back way back when. Have you ever witnessed anything between those two that would equal a beef?
Well, you know what? Let's. For me personally, I've never seen it.
Okay.
They were professional enough. Even if they did, they kept it behind closed doors. But moving forward, now they're both in different positions. You got one that's married to the boss's daughter, and then you got one that owns the company. It's part of the board, right? So, it's. I feel comfortable that at least we got two guys that are in charge that has, number one, passion for the business, number two, that knows how to run the business. Because you can't have somebody that just comes out from corporate and just all of a sudden decides, okay, I'm going to be the boss to run everything,
right,
without having knowledge of how the professional business runs. And so, I'm assuming when you have board meetings together, what table does it? Because it's called negotiations, right? One will probably think, well, this is best for the company. The other one, this is, and there could be a little bit of animosity there, a little bit of heat there somewhere. But, these are grown men now.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're not fighting for a spot anymore, right? So I feel like, these guys are professional enough to do what's good for business, And so, at the end of the day, they would, I would think that they would both come together and to be able to, meet halfway, right, and, to do what's good for business. But yeah, you can imagine, like, some of the guys in the office, all they got to do is just show up and just listen to the command. But when you the commander,
mm-hmm,
you know what I mean? You gotta, have plans. You gotta have a vision. You gotta take chances. You know what I mean? You gotta go out on a limb, take a risk. So because if it falls, ain't nobody going to be talking about the agent. Ain't nobody going to be talking about the wrestlers. They're going to be talking about the decision makers, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, yeah, I mean, again, to answer your question, I don't think that, that's the case, I think rumors is rumors.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, back in the day, we all go through it. I'm guilty for that. What I mean? You're a friend of a person, but then when you get in the ring or, things don't go your way and you kind of feel some type of way and I thought you was my friend and all this. Well, you got to learn how to separate business from that. You got to learn how to separate the personal feelings from your business because the business is your brand. So you're going to try to protect your brand. He's going to try to protect his brand. So at the end of the day, let's meet in the middle, 50-50.
Yes, sir. Copy that. Speaking of SummerSlam and hip-hop, what are your thoughts on Jelly Roll?
What? Jelly Roll is not a Jelly Roll anymore, all the weight he lost.
Right?
He looks great. And, welcome to the business, man. I think it was McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, yes.
Boot to the face.
Yes.
Man, he took one hell of a bump and he sold the hell out of it.
So they're saying that if things are gonna go as planned, Jelly Roll is gonna have a match at SummerSlam against Logan Paul. What are your thoughts on that?
Let's see. That's a draw to it. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're gonna get an A+ match out of it, but
right.
As far as just because the following that Jelly Roll has. And the YouTube follow that Paul has, I think it's added to the big spectacle pay-per-view of the SummerSlam. I'm assuming, leading up to what are we about a couple weeks?
Yes, sir.
You still have a couple weeks for new surprises to happen, and so that's good for business. Paul and Jelly Roll, and I think I'm gonna be locked into that match. To see how that goes.
So Triple H even mentioned that Jelly Roll actually has wrestling training background. He trained a while back as a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
So he's coming into this match somewhat with experience. But do you think it's going to be enough to beat one of the most fastest uprising athletes of this modern day era in Logan Paul?
Absolutely not.
Right?
Absolutely not. Jelly Roll, let me put it out. Jelly Roll is a singer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He can rock the hell out of a mic. But I don't know about him rocking Paul out there. Paul's in shape.
Yes, sir.
Paul's got stamina. Paul's got cardio. Paul knows how to wrestle. He's one of those guys that came into the business that was just a natural. I've always said, I'm a big fan of Paul.
Yes, sir.
And so, he holds his own. So let's see how Paul adapts to Jelly Roll. Because that's what's going to have to carry this match, And I believe that once Paul and Jelly Roll kind of get together, that and try to find that common ground, what bumps that Jelly Roll can and cannot take, you know what I mean? So he's going to have to kind of work around that to be able to, have that match exciting. It's going to be an exciting match just to see Jelly Roll in a wrestling match. That's going to be the draw. Whether he has a good match or not, they're just going to tune in to see what Jelly Roll can do. They already know what Paul can do. But they're going to lock in, tune in, just to see what this guy can do. And while people are locking in, cha-ching, 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 all parties are happy. TKO, Netflix, and WWE.
So on a 1 to 10 basis, Big Kish, what do you think Jelly Roll's chances are of winning?
Absolutely zero. What are you kidding me? I just mentioned to you about.
Yes, sir. I was just wanted to be sure. Wanted to be sure.
He'll win at his own concert, selling out stadiums and stuff. But in a wrestling match at SummerSlam, man, come on now.
Yes, sir.
If I was Jelly Roll, they should have had him turn heel, because when you come and you're already a liked person in your industry. Professional wrestling, you want to turn, throw swerves in there. I would have had Jelly Roll. This is my opinion. I would have had him come through there and just straight up just cut a promo on the whole wrestling industry. You know what I'm saying? And then now whoever's booked, it can be the bottom guy booked against Jelly Roll. The fans they can't wait to see Jelly Roll's ass get beat up. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And that's, that's to me sell tickets, right? But I'm sure he's a great guy, obviously, but, this is professional wrestling. This is the entertainment world. This is what we do, the heroes and the villains, right? So if I'm already a hero in what I'm doing, let me come on in this new industry and try to see if I can be the bad guy like I've always wanted to be. You know what I mean? So, hey, good luck to Jelly Roll.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? I hope Paul don't roll your ass out of the ring and, 1, 2, 3 and hit him with one of them splashes or stuff. So
that's right.
A big shout out to Jelly Roll just for accepting the contract.
Big shout out, Jelly Roll. Speaking of shout outs, big shout out to your nephew, Zilla Fatu, who had one hell of an impactful TNA debut this past weekend at Slammiversary. So your nephew debuted with, I think his name is Joshua Bishop, who had Sid Vicious vibes written all over him. And the real one, Joshua Bishop.
Who?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with him as well, but he does resemble Sid Vicious a lot. Yeah. But this is somebody I did know was the real one, Enzo. Who was the real one, Enzo?
Who?
Bada bing, bada boom. So let me get your thoughts on
get the broom.
On Zilla Fatu. What did you think about his debut at TNA? They were victorious, so that's really well. He debuted in TNA and had his first victory. What are your thoughts?
Here's my thought on it. I get it. Your pop's friend was Jeff Hardy, right? If he had long hair, I would have thought it was Jeff Hardy out there. Like on the independent circuit, Zilla's been building his brand out there. As Umanga's, son. And when you finally get onto a big screen, like that had to be his big television broadcast opportunity, right? I didn't see why, he would put the paint on his face. For me, it wasn't good marketing. Like, I felt like you were marketing Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy does not need any marketing. Jeff Hardy is an icon in his own right? I get it. You love Jeff, Jeff loves your pops, but your pops is not here anymore. So, at the end of the day would you have gone, I feel that, him coming out as himself, as, who people see us as, would have benefited him a lot more than coming out with a paint by Jeff Hardy. And I believe Jeff Hardy had similar paint on him, that night, because that's what Jeff Hardy does, is paint his face. So I don't know who talked that kid into, painting his face. Again, to be able to, I feel like he's still learning, right? And, I watched the match. I wasn't too... I wish I was there in the locker room to help orchestrate his spots, because you got a lot of guys in there that are a lot more advanced. And then when you have a young kid in there, there's just so much happening, right? He's excited. It's first time on this big stage, big platform of TNA. I get it. But if you watch the whole thing, he started. Didn't do too much there. And then the spots go on, Enzo and all these other guys coming through, showing their working ability. And then he comes back again. Zilla rolls back in. Boom, did another spot. Outside he goes again. But the spot wasn't to benefit him. It was to benefit those. And then at the end of the match, which out of nowhere, he comes up with the flying spike and hit, which was, to me, I'm not saying this because he's my nephew, but that was the most exciting move to me in that short match. So you got Enzo that cut a promo for 24 hours. And all it was about Enzo. Yeah. And then he promoted this guy and promoted Zilla, damn near told Zilla's whole... We don't need to rewind to tell us, his personal. He's been locked up, but we already know that story. We don't need to personally say, the kids... It's out there like that. If you got that much time, all that. Let's just get to the ring and let's get busy so I can show my skills. because they're only giving me a few minutes to get out there to do my thing. So at the end of the day, it's things like this to where I wish I could be hands-on, these big matches that my nephew goes through, is to be able to, because who you going to trust if you don't trust your own family member?
Yes, sir.
So that, if you watch that, those that are smart in the industry, yeah, to me, that was all about, Enzo. That had nothing to do with Push Zilla. Zilla was just an added piece to that, to the Slammiversary, because the following that Zilla has, and Enzo mentioned the bloodline, mentioned the Samoan. Of course, you're going to drop, those are those key words. Mm-hmm. When you see any family member in Samoan, you can bet your ass they're going to say bloodline or Samoan dynasty. Why? Because that brings weights to it, right? So when you put that out there, for me now, I said, okay, I got to carry this. I got to carry this on my shoulder and represent for the family. So, so again, not blaming, my nephew. The good thing that you can take out of this was the opportunity. The other thing is you learned a lesson out there. That DTA, like Stone Cold used to say, don't trust anybody. Right? And so, because, at the end of the day, it's like you rewind that back and you guys go look at it. I mean, that's what I took. My professional advice is what I see and what I'm given. Man, I'm not hating on anybody. This is a business. This is a business. So you got 6 guys out there. I guarantee you everybody was out there for themselves. But what I teach here in the Academy of KnokXPro, what are we working for?
The match.
The match. Because if we're not all on the same page for the match, it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about the match. It's about giving the fans what they want to see, what they expect to see from certain talent. Like if you're a talent that out there that don't have the big following, then know your role. Your role is to make that person with the big following even more popular, more famous. Because if he's more popular, more famous, that means asses in the seats next time they book the person like that. So I see it from a different way. And again, I'm not saying, that just because, it's a family member, but, this is a teaching for me to everybody out there that's in the wrestling business that wants to be a part of wrestling. You need to understand, if you're a roster, you got to understand, when they call those type of spots in the back, you need to see it. You need to see it, rewind, and bring it back. And then you look at the person that's calling that spot, they're going to tell on themselves. Because you're going to rewind it, and you say, well, damn, everything he's calling, that's just to promote him. Mm-hmm. Like, there was 3 mouthpieces on stage, and why only one person talk? Last I knew, Zilla can talk. I don't know him, but I'm assuming he can talk. I mean, that's your shine, right? That's your spotlight. Like, I ain't gonna have this guy here talk for me. Man, give me the mic. Give me the mic. So that just tells you, right, not everybody that comes out of WWE is smart, right? You got to understand that.
Still speaking, excuse me, of Enzo, there was a story a while back that actually involved Roman Reigns. There was a story that Enzo, and everybody knows Enzo, he had a good run with a big cast and the tag team, and then he broke off and did his own thing. But there was a story where Roman Reigns actually couldn't take any more of his mouth and kicked him off a bus. And this was a shoot story.
Yeah. I probably would have did the same thing.
Which brings me this question, Big Kish.
Like, know your role.
Yes, sir. Know your surroundings. This is my question.
Just shut the up. That's that simple. It's hard enough being on the road.
This is what I want to ask you, Big Kish. So back in your day, when you were on the road, is there a talent that comes to your mind that had so much potential and so much promise, but their behavior or their mouth or just their personality held them back and they didn't make it as far as they could have? Is there anybody that comes to mind?
No, there isn't, Joey. I can't even tell. Because, the people that came through was already smart, was already prepped. Because when they walk into that dungeon of a locker room where you got BSK, the Click, the whole 9 is in there, they were already walking on eggshells already. So nobody ever came with a loud mouth. Nobody ever came like they already knew it all. Everybody they were already prepped and understand, you know. It's that old school mentality. You come in there, you know, you respect. There's a word called respect. Shut the up. You don't know what the you're talking about. Okay, you got a job here. Now just sit in the corner and learn. Watch the OGs, watch the pros that knows, and just learn. The only time you really should open your mouth if you got a question. Open your mouth up, and then we will probably want to teach you. But if you that type that, you know, talk a lot and just, you know, those are those type of people that's their fear. You know what I mean? They don't know any way but just to run their mouths like, almost like a bully. They've been bullied in school, right? So now they take that and they try to, you know, it gets to a point where it's like, you know what? I ain't working with you no more. I'm not working with you out there. I'm damn sure not gonna work with you in the locker room. I'm just gonna tell you, shut the up. That's it. Knuckle up or shut the up. That's it.
Well, you know, somebody who just opened up their mouth, Big Kish, is actually somebody we've talked about on the show quite a few times, and that is going to be the one and only Miss Cardi B.
There it is.
So Miss Cardi B
Say what your
tweeted.
mama gave you.
Miss Cardi B tweeted at your daughter-in-law, Naomi, and this is her tweet. If you don't mind me reading right here.
Yeah, I'm sure you already got it tattooed in your brain.
Him. All right, here we go. Cardi B tweeted to Naomi, "You have amazing in-laws. You should thank them." That was it. Naomi responded with, "Say something nice about your champion, or there will be consequences." So
I think Cardi B was talking about me.
well, yeah, you're the in-law, yeah.
I love you, Cardi B. Cardi B. Trent, okay, Trent, you get along with Cardi B now. Come on now. Y'all girls get along out there. Man.
I don't think they're going to get along, Big Kish. I think heading into SummerSlam, we might see something. We might see some nails out, some hair pulled. I don't know. But I know that you're a fan of Cardi B.
Big time.
Exactly. So she's going to come in and possibly dance with your daughter-in-law. What are your thoughts about that, first of all?
Well, man, this will be great. How about we have like, let's have somebody special guest manager on both sides. We'll bring in Offset to come in with Trinity.
Offset?
Yeah. We'll bring Offset. And then I'll come in with Cardi B.
Oh, man, there it is.
You know what I mean? And my goodness. Oh, yeah, I'm not even going to go there.
Wow.
You know how much of a big fan I am. But
yes, this has to be a hard one for you.
Yeah, it is, because I love them both. You know, I love family, but then I love Cardi B because, man, she's the bomb, man. You know, I always talk about her on the show.
So I don't think she's got any
Cardi B, if you're listening, can y'all just kind of work this out? Trent, if you're listening, can y'all just try to work this out a little bit? Maybe I can come in we can have us a little round table together or something like that. You know what I mean? Kish should be in the middle. We just talk about it. Let's just talk about it.
Let me ask you a really hard-hitting question, Big Kish. If Cardi B needed some training and she decided to come here to KnokXPro,
I can definitely show her how to back it up and just shake what your mama gave you and back that thing up and give him not a stink face, give him a Cardi B face. There it is.
There it is. Big Kish, do you have any final words?
Cardi B, I'm waiting for you. SummerSlam, y'all get together. Trent, y'all get together. And just remember, it is free to be kind, like I always said. And also, both of y'all and everybody, smarten up. And I'm out. That was good shit. That was good shit. Watch me get it. Watch it goes out, Trent. Pop, really, Pop? Really, Pop? That was it. No, that was my guy Joey. He brought it. I didn't even know y'all was going back and forth. But damn it.